Gracie Jiu Jitsu rocks. Welcome to the Gracie Jiu Jitsu Rocks podcast, a podcast dedicated to Gracie Jiu Jitsu and all things Gracie, including self-defense, competition, anti-bullying, women's self-defense and empowerment, nutrition, and most especially, the people involved in Gracie Jiu Jitsu. This podcast is for the average Joe. It's for anyone who practices, trains, teaches, or just loves to talk about or hear about Gracie Jiu Jitsu. We'll explore the lives of Gracie Jiu Jitsu practitioners, how they got involved in the art, and what effect it's had on their lives. So buckle up and enjoy the ride. Welcome to episode 52 of the Gracie Jiu Jitsu Rocks podcast. As always, I'm your host, Marty Josie, and thanks for listening. Today, my guest will be Alex Stuart, Gracie Jiu Jitsu black belt and instructor at the Gracie Academy. And we'll get to that in just a moment, but first, our Jiu Jitsu quote, and that quote is, "When you know you can't get beat up, you feel invincible. And when you feel invincible, you're a better brother, you're a better father, you're a better businessman, you're a better husband. You're better at everything that you do." And that's from Henner Gracie. Great quote. Okay, on a recent episode, we had the first Meet the Listener segment, and that went over very well. So I decided to continue on with that. So today, we have a new listener, and his name is Art Yamas. So let's meet Art now. Okay, I'm speaking with Art Yamas. So welcome, Art.
Hello.
Thanks for taking time to talk to us today.
Oh, man, the pleasure's all mine. Thanks for having me.
All right, well, just start off. Tell us where you live and where you train, Art.
Sure, I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I train at the Gracie Jiu Jitsu Tulsa. It's a certified training center.
And that's run by?
It's run by Robert Davenport, and Marty Jennings.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Those are two awesome individuals for sure.
Oh, yeah. You don't want me to spend 20 minutes on talking about how great they are, but yeah, they are phenomenal instructors.
Excellent. Just one quick thing about why you love training there.
I am a detail-oriented guy, and when it comes to details, those guys are top-notch. I got to train in Torrance once at the headquarters, and it was identical. I loved every minute of it, and I really appreciate that fact that I can get the same training here that I got over there.
Absolutely. So when you're not on the mat, what do you like to do? What hobbies do you have, Art?
Back in the day, I could, list off a whole handful of things that I used to love to do, but I recently had a baby. So currently it's, diapers and bottles and trying to get as much sleep as possible.
Oh, I'm sure. How's that sleep going?
It's going well.
And you said you had a daughter?
Yes, I have a daughter.
You want to share her name with us?
Yeah, her name is Anna, and she is, the primary babysitter. She's definitely kicking in the clutch, and she's been a tremendous help, and she loves having, a little one. She's older now, so she can enjoy. There's not that competitiveness, so she's, enjoying every moment of being there with a little guy. So.
And what's the little guy's name?
His name is Abraham.
Oh, very nice, very nice. All right. Well, it sounds like you're blessed with an awesome family. Since we're doing names, you want to shout out to your wife and tell her name?
Yes, my wife. Without her, none of my dreams and aspirations, including the jiu-jitsu side of things, would be possible. Her name is Susie, and she's definitely the rock, the support. And, she's been really influential in being accepting and supportive and, letting me chase the jiu-jitsu dream, as they say.
That's wonderful, man. Without our wonderful wives, we wouldn't be where we are today. Certainly wouldn't be able to do jiu-jitsu the way we'd like as well, right?
Very true.
So how did you discover the podcast, Art, and tell us what you like the most about it?
The podcast, honestly, I ran across it through Facebook, and it was just somebody had liked a post, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, hey, there's a podcast. I'm a huge podcast listener. I actually got into jiu-jitsu training because I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast, and he was really pushing about, doesn't matter what age you are, what experience level, go train. Jiu-jitsu is a phenomenal thing, and at any age level, you can learn self-defense and go do it. And I had put it off for a long time, and one day I was like, you know what? Now is the time I'm going to search it out. And I came across the guys here at Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Tulsa, and it's been phenomenal. So that's kind of how I came across the podcast. I love the podcast. I can't tell you, I can't tell you one particular thing. All of it is phenomenal. I love hearing from people that have been associated with the Gracies from the beginning, people that have, become acclimated to the system and how they've grown and their growth, not only as jiu-jitsu practitioners, but as people, which is phenomenal. It's a great podcast because it really gives you an in-depth look of people that have been there a long time, but that are still going through the journey, even at some pace or level that we are as beginners or, medium, intermediate type people.
Great. Well, thank you for that feedback. And I know you and I it's great to be able to actually talk to you live finally, because you and I have corresponded a number of times, and you've given me some good suggestions for the show, so I do appreciate that. So thanks for allowing us to get to know a little bit about you, Art, and really appreciate you being a listener.
No problem. Hey, Marty, the pleasure's all mine. Keep up the good work, man. You're doing a fantastic service for the jiu-jitsu community.
Thank you, my brother. Take care.
Right, sir. All right, take care.
Okay, thank you, Art, for doing that. And I'm really enjoying that segment, so I do plan to keep that going. All right, let's move on to today's interview, and that is with Alex Stuart. Alex is a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu black belt and an instructor out at the Gracie Academy in Torrance, California. And Alex is an absolutely awesome individual, so I know you're going to enjoy getting to know him better. After the interview, make sure you stick around for the Make a Difference, Make an Impact segment. And now, without further ado, let's meet Alex. So I'm speaking with and wait for it. Did you get all that?
I got it. Now I can talk.
All right.
None of your word for sure.
Yeah, this speaking with Alex Stuart, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu black belt and instructor at the Gracie Academy. And that was a little inside joke between me and Alex. And for those of you listening, I'll give you the backstory. When I told Alex I wanted to interview him for the show, and he had heard about all the people that had been on before, he gave me a little grief, joking around, gave me grief about waiting so long to have him on. So he said he deserved horns and trumpets and cowbells, and I couldn't agree more. You deserve that and more, brother. So thanks for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All
I
right.
wouldn't have been on it if I didn't hear the Cowboys. I didn't hear the Cowboys and hang up. So,
right on. So how's it going at the Gracie Academy these days?
oh, man, it's great, man. We're getting more people every week, and the journey continues as always, and there's nothing more exciting, beautiful, and just to see new faces in there and wanting to learn something completely different from their everyday life or martial arts that they've done before, or just experience something new, and that's what really gets me going, especially when they finally get that move, that technique when they thought they couldn't get it down, and their faces right up, and I'm like, yep, that's what it's all about right there. So
that's
take
awesome.
a short ball. It's good.
Well, that's what it's all about, man. Touching lives and helping them get it, right? Exactly. Let's back up. Tell me a little bit about how you got started before Jiu-Jitsu. Have you done any other arts before Jiu-Jitsu, or did you start martial arts-wise with Jiu-Jitsu, and just how did all that start up for you, Alex?
It all started up for me, if you answer your question, have I done any martial arts before? Just like any kid growing up, you see all these, karate movies and stuff like that. So I took, Taekwondo, I think, for maybe, less than a year when I was a kid. And so that's pretty much the only martial arts or experience I really have. And growing up, I was into sports, playing football. And the old academy, the Gracie Jiu Jitsu Academy, was in Carson, right across the street from my high school. I used to go to Torrance High. And a couple of my friends did it, and that was that typical guy, that stuff doesn't work, you split the pajama guys. I mean, yeah, right, my friend did it, and I was like, come on, man, I'm just going to punch somebody, and that's it. I played football, so I thought I was, that guy, And,
right.
And kept on going, and then I graduated high school, joined the Marines, got out of the Marines, and got into the job, which I hated. The back enter asked me to, if I possibly wanted to teach at the academy. And I was like, are you kidding me? It's like a freaking dream come true. They asked me when I was
I'll say. Right?
So a year and a half into it, they're like, hey, you want to possibly teach? I'm like, absolutely. And I've been doing it ever since, and loving it. And continue growing from it. I'm continuing to learn every day. I learn something new.
Wow. So you're helping others learn, and you're learning. So that's a great journey, my friend. Back up a moment, and you skipped over the Marine Corps really quick. So I just want to say thank you for serving, first of all. And what did you do while you were in the Marine Corps?
Basic stuff, and I was a grunt. A grunt is, for people that don't know what a grunt is, it's an infantryman, if you want to call it that. So
right.
311, and I was over there in Camp Horno and stuff like that. So did my time. It's a love and hate thing, just like anything, And now I'm moving on to better things, right?
Right on. And what took you to the Gracie Academy? Well, you just said that's how you got introduced by your friend. So what was it like when you first started at the academy?
Well, what got me into it was that I was at home and I was just driving by. I wanted to take a keto or some kung fu or some kickboxing, something just to do something, something flashy, look really cool, At the old academy, It was literally 2 minutes away from my house. And they had a special, sign up for a month. You get a month free, you get a free gi. I was like, you know what, let me try this. Let me milk this, And man, the first day, man, just like everybody, they fell in love with it. The first day when I walked in, I was like, you know what, I want to do this, man. I want to teach for my very first class.
Wow.
And I always tell the story that that's what made me fall in love with jiu-jitsu. First day, right? When I wanted to teach. But what really made me believe in jiu-jitsu, whoa, this stuff actually works, was when my first time rolling with Brian Ortega, T50 now, plays for the UFC.
Yeah. Right.
And I signed up maybe I don't know how, maybe 6 months after he did, 6 months. I want to say a year tops, after he did. And he was man, how old was he? Maybe 14 years old or something like that. He was $120 after a full stomach after Thanksgiving dinner, And here I am like a man, 225 pounds, Marine Corps, and Brian was just tossing me around, making me tap left and right with none other than the triangle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow. If this little kid, this little booger right here that weighs less than half of me is tossing me around, imagine what I can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what an eye-opener, right?
I got it. And I love it, man. Some people might get upset, get frustrated, or embarrassed to even go back when it's when someone is handling you that isn't supposed to handle you at all, right? And
yeah,
I love it. I crave it. I still crave it.
Wow. That's great. That's great. So it just really ignited something in you and a passion for learning more and getting more, and the rest is history. Let's shift a little bit now. Tell us a little bit about your time off the mat. Do you have any hobbies besides jiu-jitsu?
Any hobbies? Someone asked me that like a few months ago. Like, Alex, I know like jiu-jitsu is your job and everything, but what are your hobbies? And no one's really asked me that before, and I told them jiu-jitsu is still my hobby. And it's still something that I'm very passionate about. I love it, and I continue learning from it. So jiu-jitsu is my hobby still. But off the mat, I like to draw, cartoons. Starting to draw again, doing some different kind of art here and there. I like to write. A lot of people don't really know that about me. I like to write little nursery poems and jokes like that so I can sing it to my daughter. And occasionally I ride a motorcycle. I have a motorcycle. And
nice.
I'll ride that. But reality, man, I just like just hanging out. Just enjoying the day and just being out, being with loved ones and family, and just hearing great things, doing great things, and just relaxing, man.
Great, man. And you mentioned your family. I know your family is very important to you, just from following your Facebook posts and your beautiful daughter, Marley, is it?
Yes, sir, Marley.
Yeah, she's a beautiful girl. It's been great, watching you and just the love that you have and share on your Facebook page with her. I have a daughter as well who's she'll be 8 next month, and it's just nothing like it.
Oh man, I love it, man. I'm all about family, man, and I love being a father. I love being a father, a dad, her friend, and man, I just love it, man. Just like you said, man, like your daughter's gonna be 8, and that's great. And it's just like any guy, I think anyway. Like when you're gonna have a kid, we kind of somewhat want a boy, so we can rough up and like teach him how to be like you and so forth, But I love having a daughter, man. Marley, I kind of found, like, man, I look at her, I'm like, baby, I love you, but you turned daddy into a baby, man. I cry over everything. I'm a crier, man.
They'll do it.
I cried the first time. Frozen. I saw Frozen, and I freaking cried.
Of course.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm fortunate to have I have a son as well, 11-year-old, and I'm a little older, so I got started later, but which is a good thing because it gave me time to kind of get some of the craziness out when I was younger. So as I matured, I'm able to appreciate it a lot more now being a parent. So I do have a son, so I'm very grateful for that, and I love them both dearly. But man, that daughter, it's nothing like that to melt your heart. I was told years ago before having kids that, having kids, it's just such a different kind of love. It's like something you've never experienced it. And I was like, it sounds pretty cool. But man, how amazing to actually experience that. It's like nothing else in the world.
Nothing. And I heard the same thing. One of my friends said the same thing. Alex, you have no idea how much you're going to love your baby. And I was like, yeah, I know, bro. Of course I know. You're going to love your baby. He's like, Alex, think of something that you love right now. So I said something. I forgot what I said. Now, imagine times infinity. And I was like, yeah, right. No way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sure enough, when Marley was born, I was like, wow. He was absolutely right. So every time one of my friends or students, or the same thing, are expecting, I always tell them the same story. And sure enough, once their baby's born, they tell me the same thing that I realized. Like you weren't kidding, And I love it.
Incredible. All right, so I know you get to train with a lot of high caliber, awesome people being there at the Gracie Academy, but if you could train with someone that you haven't trained with before, either living or deceased, who would that be?
Like roll with somebody that I've never rolled with before, living or deceased. And who would I roll with? Pretty cool. 2 people pop in my head. Number one, I think, would be Marcelo Garcia. Because he's been in the game for I can't even give a date. But he was someone that me and my friend look at, like his DVDs and YouTube and stuff like that when we started, when we were purple belts. And the person I'm talking about is Ricardo. He was and Alberto. We used to be instructors at the Gracie Academy, and we got our belts together. And it was just something completely different, and to this day, people still say his name. And if you ever look at him on YouTube or online or whatever, he goes with top name guys, and he's just playing with them.
Wow.
And the very few people that I know that have rolled with them said like it's just a completely different feeling than anybody. These are people that have rolled with Heat on Henry as well. Nothing to take away from them at all. Absolutely not. So I would love to experience that kind of rolling.
Absolutely.
And the second person I think would be we were just talking about him today. Me and my friend. Talking about probably like BJ10 for the same reason,
Absolutely.
And those two. I mean, there are a lot of great athletes out there, jiu-jitsu practitioners, present, past, and beyond. But I think those are the two ones that I would love to roll with at least once.
Yeah. Seriously, and those are two great ones for sure. You're not the only one that would have them on your list. A lot of people share that feeling. Marcelo, he always comes up in conversation in jiu-jitsu circles as one of the people you gotta check out once in your life. And BJ, he's a legend, of course. I've read so many things about just how different and awesome it is, rolling with him. So those would be awesome. Those would be great. All right, so what would you say is the biggest impact that jiu-jitsu has had on your life?
Man, I think it's taught me many, many things, and sadly, it took me until black belt to really realize and understand that jiu-jitsu and life are together. They're almost same, you have to be patient, because if you do things too soon or too late, you might miss an opportunity. You might slip out your fingers. If you rush through something, you're just too aggressive. And let's say you do get what you're chasing after, you need to be completely exhausted to maintain what you fought so hard to get. So it for sure has taught me patience, calmness, and appreciation as well to whatever I do achieve. No matter how long it took, that I'm just gonna pretty much just stop and smell the roses, appreciate what took me so long, or whatever it is I was chasing after, or working so hard for, and just appreciate it, because you never know how long you're gonna have anything, right? It could be a moment, it could be a day, a week, a year, a month, a minute, So it's not been just the little things. The little things, and of course the bigger things, but it's like anything, man. It's all about the little things, and know the bigger picture, know the whole picture, but just the little things. And I keep saying that because just like any technique, man, if you don't pay attention to the little things, then you're gonna lose it. Then you're gonna waste your energy. You're gonna burn out. You're gonna get muscle fatigue, and then it's not even fun anymore.
Yeah.
So the next time it's why even try? I can get it, but then I'm going to be so completely exhausted or hurt or whatever the case may be, and then it doesn't even taste the same anymore. So
yeah,
I'm just it taught me for sure calm and listening. Listen.
That's huge. Those are huge lessons about life, like you said, that go hand in hand with jiu-jitsu. And I've heard it from a lot of people that, just like you, that it took them to getting to black belt before they kind of learned or really absorbed, really deeply internalized those lessons. But they are so important, patience and timing and being in the moment and being present and kind of appreciating where you are in the moment instead of looking ahead or behind or getting caught up in just forcing things, stuff like that. So those are great lessons, man, for sure.
And patience, it's obviously the number one thing. And one of my students, my friend Chris, asked me, Alex, how do you learn patience? I keep hearing, the same answer, the very cliche answer, right? It's mat time, just step on the mat day by day, so forth and so forth, which is all true, by the way. But everybody's different, built in different ways, and what might work for me might not work for you, or it might work for the other person. So everybody's different. So I told him, like, hey, give me some time to think about that, and that in itself taught me patience. It took me like 3 or 4 days. In order to learn patience, you have to experience the consequences of rush. So that in itself has taught me to be patient, and that's what I've learned in my journey still in jiu-jitsu.
Absolutely. So what do you think the hardest part to get for someone just beginning, a brand new person to jiu-jitsu? What do you think they struggle with the most, and what advice would you have for them?
What advice would I have for them in the beginner stage, right? Well, it's just to constantly remind yourself why you even started, why you stayed in as long as you have. It could be like even a week or a month or so forth, and always keep that fire, keep that drive, keep that want, because in jiu-jitsu, I remember when I started, what Hidon and Hender would tell me is that in jiu-jitsu, there's 500 or 600 techniques in jiu-jitsu, right? But then it's like any martial art, especially jiu-jitsu, is always evolving. New techniques, new guards, new grips, new this, new that. So when I started teaching, what we tell the beginner students, like in jiu-jitsu, there's 600 techniques. And then went up to, in jiu-jitsu, there's 700 techniques, 800 techniques. Now what you're saying is over 1,000 techniques, right? So,
right,
because it's all evolving, you have to just not get frustrated, because I remember how it was sometimes overwhelming for me, right? And that was when there was like not too many techniques back then. Hundreds of still, but not as many. But it's always evolving, and so there should be no rush at all to like try to get to a mastery of this, of techniques when it's never going to end. All right, that's what we say. Jiu-jitsu is a journey, right? It's an endless journey, and so why are we in such a rush to start this road and this journey and finish it? There's no finish line, So my advice to them would be, what? Just take literally day by day by day, and not to compare yourself, because that's the number one thing that, not number one, but one of the things that people do. They compare to the person they started with, or even the belt. And a good example of that is like, we could have 2 kids that are exactly the same age. I could be 8 years old, you could be 8 years old, right? And then, but not knowing that you're in 3rd grade and I'm still in 2nd grade, right? But if you're reading at a 3rd grade level, and then I'm like, man, I can't read like you, but we're the same age. Like the age means the belt, right? So then I start putting myself down, and I try to force myself to read at a 3rd grade level, and I'm just gonna get lost. So instead of trying to catching up to the other person or comparing yourself, just be good at the level that you're at, the grade that you're in. You'd rather be a good 2nd grader than not understanding anything in 2nd grade, because you're trying to catch on in 3rd grade, and the things that you're doing in 3rd grade, you're just getting more confused. And then you're going to get overwhelmed, you're going to get frustrated, then you're going to start using your natural attributes, which would be like your strength, your flexibility, your size, or your lack of size, or whatever the case would be. And then once you realize that that's not working, then people just quit. So my advice to you, to anybody really, it doesn't matter any belt, is just remember to just treat jiu-jitsu, the emotional part, the love, the want, the excitement, to always treat it as if it was like your first day, your first week. Because that's when you're at the most hype. Like, oh, I love this. But then when it starts getting like, okay, after a month, or maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years, and then you start like, I'm just gonna go through the motions, And just like in life, right? Like when you're dating somebody, right? You make it official. You treat them like yes, they're the one. They're this. It's all exciting me, right? But then like after like a year or two, like, why would I do that? Why would I do this? Right? So just treat it as if it was your first class, as if it was your first month. Like the honeymoon time. Because, man, if you really want to do this forever, and forever in itself could be like different from person to person. My forever could be 10 years, and your forever could be 20 years, so my other person's forever could be 3 years. Right? But just always find something to challenge yourself realistically, and to always remind you the love that you have for it, what kept you in. And I can honestly say, I tell this to a lot of people, that within the past 15, 16 months, I have fallen in love with Jiu Jitsu all over again, a good 2 or 3 times. And can you imagine falling in love again with something that you already loved? It's just ridiculous. It's like falling in love with your daughter all over again. Does that make sense? So
wow.
It's not something that I did. Oh yeah, I self-discovered this, so I self-discovered that. It's like it could be the look in someone's eyes when they realize they could do something, man. Like, the number one thing I love to hear, just to prove them wrong, I can't do this. I'll say, who said that? Like, I can't do this. No, who said that? Well, why can't you do it? Oh, I'm so old, I'm so small, I'm not flexible, I'm too skinny, I'm too big. It's like, no, bro. Or bro cha-cha, I don't want to say bro cha-cha, It's like, of course you can do it. And then we're going to sit here and we're going to do it together. And there was this one person that, he said he couldn't do it. And he was, in his 40s, which is still young. And he said he had bad hips. And he couldn't do the arm lock from the mount. And he had this face, I can't do it. I'm like, bro, do this. Take away this, take away that, include this. Don't, just go with it. And the 1, 2, 3 times he had that face, when you you grind your teeth and you're getting a shot in your shoulder when you're a kid, you're just already anticipating it. But on the fourth one or fifth one, man, he spun for it and he still had that same face. But when he landed, I'm getting chills right now thinking about it. He sat down and he was like, oh, and I was like, there you go, bro.
Nice.
And I walked away, man. And that literally brought a tear to my eye. And I fell in love with Jiu-Jitsu right then and again, because what it brings to the individual, what it brings, even for me, it's a selfish thing. I get joy out of that, right? Or someone else that was training. I used to train for 10 years, and life happened, and he was gone for 15 years, and came back. And he stayed with it, and he's still training. And I was like, man, that's so cool. And I told that person, you are Jiu-Jitsu. You are, to me, is what Jiu-Jitsu is all about. It's not someone like me or someone a student that trains every single day or 3 times a day. Is a person that once Jiu-Jitsu touches you, it's never going to leave you. So he was gone for 15 years, and it was still in him. It was still boom, 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 right? Life after lifetime. When many people, after a certain amount of time, get discouraged, I don't want to go back, man. I used to be this belt. I used to be this skill level. I don't want to come back and start all over. And they came back and they started all over when they didn't have to. And I was like, wow, that is just so motivating and so encouraging. God, that motivated me and encouraged me.
Wow.
Jiu-Jitsu will never leave me no matter what happens. Wow, man. I get pumped up when I right?
That is amazing. And that motivates me just hearing about it. And it sounds like you're in such a position to not only touch lives on a daily basis, but also get fed yourself, so to speak, your spirit fed. And what a great opportunity and a great position to be in, that it goes both ways. So I really appreciate you taking the time, man, and sharing a little bit about your life and your passion and all your insights about Jiu-Jitsu, man. You're a true modern-day warrior and a true great Jiu-Jitsu example. And it's an honor to know you and to be talking to you today.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for finally, letting me be on your show. I mean, the list of people were ahead, but it's all jokes and fun, man. And I knew you saved me for a reason, and I'm glad that it was today, and it couldn't be another such a perfect day.
Absolutely. I'm hoping to see you next week or a couple weeks from now out at the ICP. I'm hoping to be able to come out and help with that. I'll find out next week. But I hope that happens. If so, I'll be really glad to see you in person and talk for a while. Maybe get choked a little bit by you.
And man, just remember, man, taps are hugs, brother, and chokes are jokes. We're going to be
right on.
Hugging and laughing. That's what we're going to be doing. Hugging and laughing.
Well, in closing, anybody you want to shout out to, acknowledge, or thank, or anything like that, Alex?
You know what? It's just everybody. You know, it's like, just thank you all for just if you're in my life or not. It's just thank you for just never giving up and pursuing your dreams, and just don't stop, because as long as you don't stop, you'll get to wherever you want to go again. You know, and then once you get there, just take your time and appreciate your hard work and just know the roses, because you never know how long you're going to have it and how fast it's going to be taken away. So just appreciate it and appreciate yourself and the people around you. And it's all about love and respect. Right on. Great, powerful words, my brother. Thank you so much, and long, healthy life, my friend. I respect, brother. Okay, really enjoyed speaking with Alex. So thanks again, Alex, for doing that. Stay tuned now for the Make a Difference, Make an Impact segment. Time now for the Make a Difference, Make an Impact segment. Today's topic, it's not what happened, it's how you think about what happened. You know, there's no objective way to tell if you have had a good life, or even a good day or a good hour. Your life is a success based entirely upon your judgment. And in keeping with that, a recent study was done in which people on opposite sides of an issue were given the same newspaper article to read. The people were asked to read the article carefully and to offer their reaction. On average, people said that they thought the article was biased against their own position. That is, people on both sides of the issue thought the exact same article was biased against their side. Now, the article could not possibly have been biased against both sides of the issue. So obviously, it wasn't the content of the article that drove the reaction, but the perspective of the readers. Life events have the same effect. The same event can be seen positively or it can be seen negatively. It depends on your perspective. So going through your day, your week, your month, I invite you to keep this in mind. When you're in the middle of a situation, possibly a frustrating or irritating situation, check your perspective. How are you seeing or viewing this? What are you telling yourself in the middle of the situation? How could you change your perspective and therefore experience the situation in a whole different way? We all have the power to choose our perspective. So keep this in mind, and by doing so, I'm sure you're going to have a much more positive and fulfilled life. And that's going to do it for this edition of the show. As always, I thank you for listening. I appreciate all feedback, so if you have feedback, please don't hesitate to give it. If you have ideas for the show or for guests, please let me know about those. You can leave feedback on the website at www.graciejujitsurocks.com. You can also leave feedback on iTunes, and while you're there, make sure to rate the show. It helps us with our standing in iTunes. If you haven't liked us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter, please go ahead and do that. And don't forget to share the episodes on your Facebook and social media. Again, thanks again for listening, and until next time, this is Marty Josie, and I'll see you on the mat.